Marvel Studios will be bringing back the Taskmaster in the Thunderbolts, and reportedly the character will still be the same version we saw in Black Widow. But also, there's some conflicting reports that we might be getting two Taskmasters, and the second one is the one that the comic book fans want. So you have probably seen Black Widow by now and know the whole story with Taskmaster and the differences from the comic. Obviously, they are pretty big. There's almost nothing that was retained from the comic book version, for better or for worse. Like, I don't mind the MCU version, but I was never really the biggest fan of the comic book version either, just not a character that really clicked with me. I still think that like the best use of the character in recent memory was Marvel's Spider-Man, and not so much the Avengers game, but definitely Marvel's Spider-Man. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a more comic book accurate version to see what they could do with him. Now, of course, when it comes to Taskmaster, there's also still the question of, well, what do we do with the MCU version that we already have, considering that the character of Olga is Taskmaster. Reportedly, she will be back, and this was reported on by Screen Geek. But on top of this, there's also some other pretty big news that might reveal a interesting spin on this, where maybe Taskmaster isn't just one character, but it could also be like maybe a Black Widow style program where you have more than one Black Widow. And from what we're hearing is the possibility of them introducing another Taskmaster, aka a more comic book one, where the guy under the suit is in fact a guy under the suit, and this would be kind of a, big deal. We got two Taskmasters on the team. And realistically, I don't think I would mind this much if they're willing to have the Taskmaster we saw in Black Widow be somebody that was maybe inspired by the real Taskmaster, and they were using it as kind of like a, hey, we're trying to, use this, something that's known, that's feared. That type of deal, that would be honestly kind of cool. And you could still follow the route that the, original Black Widow script followed, where Natasha's best friend, her supplier, was supposed to be Taskmaster. You can maybe follow down that route and still go back to that and kind of reveal a little retcon in there. And then also do the more comic accurate look with the skull and everything, because we know that the whole reason they didn't do it in the MCU the first time around was because of China regulations. Now that Disney said we don't care about putting our films in China since they're just going to ban them anyway, well, now you just do Taskmaster properly. So, yeah, pretty cool. I honestly won't mind if we get both of them. I still want to see the one that we got in Black Widow come back, but doing a more comic book accurate one in terms of backstory, the entire history, and the look, yeah, sign me up.